And I think we've done well and we've come a long way, mainly because we did not equate empowerment with just finance. Start a business, get some money, there's income flowing and the woman is empowered. That is one part of empowerment of women. What the government of Odisha did differently, led by Honorable Chief Minister, is, in a state like Odisha, as in many other states, engagement with government gives you a lot of power. So there is an active and structured engagement of women with the government of Odisha. We are probably the only state in the country where there is a cabinet directive to every department to see what kind of activities can women do within that department. And it's not necessarily profit oriented. So what happens is women get a toehold into government offices. Women can walk into BDO offices, into collectors' offices, in state government. In fact, right now, today is our grievance day. I have met at least 20-30 women SHG leaders who come with their grievances. And in a routine manner, they meet Honorable CM and go back. So when you have an engagement with the collector of your district, when he calls you for a meeting or she calls you for a meeting, it's very difficult to go back and then sit on discussions on dowry or to become the subject or the victim of domestic violence, because the entire community knows she's met Honorable Chief Minister last week and he's called her for a meeting. So engagement with government is what we do differently. Whenever any policy or scheme is announced or any initiative, we see where do the Mission Shakti leaders, where do the women of Odisha fit in? Can they play a part in just dissemination? Do they have a role in actual work in that scheme? So that is something that you could study, later on, but which is a very different thing. It's not just giving a bank loan and setting up a business and then letting her be the way she is. And that is why I believe when we talk of 33% reservation, in Odisha, in the local body elections, if you see across board, it is almost 60% and above. You see from our leaders who are in Zilla Parishads, almost 21 Zilla Parishads are headed by women out of 30. You see our Panchayat Samitis, you see the ward members, and all these women, most of them come through a process of leadership. It's not just being somebody's wife or a politically influential family that puts them there. They have been leaders in their own right, which makes them all the more effective. And that's why there are these very interesting anecdotes, when you talk of empowerment. I mean, Manoj and others know it because I say it in every stage that I go to. When Honorable CM was interacting with a group of women from Ganjam, and he was saying, do you get water and do you get, are your roads clean and is this happening or not? An elderly lady just caught his hand and said, we have all that. But wait, you've given us something that we've never had in our life. You've given us parichay. An identity. We are someone because of this scheme of yours, or because we meet you, because of Mission Shakti. So parichay equals empowerment, identity. She's not just somebody who is cooking in her house and nobody else knows about her. Now we have this chain of Mission Shakti cafes across the block. You visited a Millet Shakti cafe where women who have traditional skills in cooking are now turning it into a business, with Odia cuisine being the center stage. So when the district judge comes and eats at your place, when the local police officials comes and has a meal or you cater for them, it's a different ball game. You're not just spending your whole life being somebody's wife or somebody's daughter. So these are the kind of empowerment things that young people should think of, and I'll be very interested to know what your solutions are, and I'll expect the team to share it with me. And all the best to all of you, to the winners and to everybody else who participated. March on, and it's a very, very important thing to which we should not just give lip service to. Empower all women and girls is a very important part for our country, for our society, for our state, for wherever you work in, for corporates which you will join later on. So all the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Karthikeyan, for such an inspiring address. Now I would like to call upon Mrs. Anu Garg for her address. Mrs. Garg is a 1991 batch IS officer, presently serving as a development commissioner as well as ACS water resources in government of Odisha. She has had wide variety of experiences in water resources, women and child development, among others. As Mrs. Karthikeyan mentioned, that she is alumna of Lady Shri Ram College of Women, where she did her honors in psychology. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. My senior colleagues on the dais, Mr. Tripathi, Mr. Matthews, Sujata, Manoj, Gaurav, Utkarsh, and all of you present here. It is absolutely refreshing to see all of you here. We are so used to boring, staid meetings that even for me to be a part of the jury was very, very refreshing, and let me thank you for that. In our state, as many of you may have discovered while you were researching, we have this thing called the 5T, which is the mantra behind our governance, where the first T is transformation. And it is this T that drives us. When many of us joined the service, in my case 32 years back, in Sir's case even more, we were all driven by this, that we want to make a difference. And it is this that allows you to see where are the problems, where can you intervene, and is that intervention making any difference. I'll give you one small example. 26 years back, when I was in the district of Bargarh,
myself Aditya Diwan.
Come, fall in love with Lalchand Jewellers.
CV Raman Global University, Odisha, homegrown, world class.
मोदी सरकारଙ୍କ ग्यारंटी महिलांक पई धुआमुक्त रोसई घर प्रधानमंत्री उज्ज्वला योजना अधीन रे 10 कोटी गैस संजोग आमर संकल्प विकसित भारत।
किंतु आमी तो एकदम सॉलिड टीएमटी बार लगेई छु
माने रूमटा स्टील टीएमटी बार जंग अगरे माने निहारो और मजबूत अपारो रूमटा स्टील टीएमटी बार अच्छी बिल्कुल रेडी।